Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into the drama unfolding in Washington where Democrats are really pushing back against the Trump administration's efforts to limit oversight. Lawmakers like Representative LaMonica McIver are facing federal charges for their oversight activities at ICE facilities. Talk about a tense showdown. They're fighting for transparency and safety, but the real power to oversee will only come if they regain the majority in Congress. It's a high-stakes game for those challenging immigration policies. Moving over to Ukraine, the situation is getting more intense with Russian missile strikes in Dnipropetrovsk killing 5 and injuring 23. Russia is trying to establish a foothold, and the scale of their attack involves over 360 drones and 8 missiles, definitely not holding back. Meanwhile, diplomatic tensions are simmering as Russia calls out Germany over journalist issues, but they're also talking about peace talks, possibly in Istanbul. President Trump even hinted that recent chats with Putin might help resolve the Ukraine conflict. Interesting times ahead. And in the world of glamour, Lauren Sanchez stunned everyone by choosing a stunning Dolce & Gabbana gown for her wedding with Jeff Bezos. The classic 1950s-inspired dress, complete with lace and long sleeves, was a perfect blend of elegance and surprise. Sanchez also rocked some dazzling diamond earrings, making her day all about timeless style. Plus, some political news: Republican Don Bacon is stepping down, opening a window for Democrats to potentially flip his seat in Nebraska. And don't miss the New York City Pride Parade on June 29, a vibrant celebration of LGBTQ+ rights with a fantastic lineup of grand marshals and a lively route through Manhattan. Please continue to watch for more detailed updates. The Toronto Star vividly captures the tense atmosphere in Washington, where Democratic lawmakers face mounting challenges in their oversight efforts amidst aggressive actions by Trump officials. Representative LaMonica McIver's recent arrest and the subsequent rally of her Democratic colleagues highlight the high stakes of congressional oversight, which they see as a vital check on executive power. However, they are increasingly alarmed by the administration's secrecy and intimidation tactics, such as denying access to detention centers and detaining staffers, which threaten the very foundation of congressional authority. In this climate of hostility, Democrats are strategizing to maintain oversight through public pressure, media outreach, and reliance on local sources, all while grappling with limited subpoena power and the need for a majority to wield true influence. The looming threat of criminal charges for routine oversight activities has also prompted lawmakers to consider enhanced security measures and legal protections, underscoring the perilous environment in which they operate and the urgent need for electoral victories to restore their oversight muscle. Deutsche Welle paints a grim picture of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, emphasizing the devastating toll of Russian missile strikes that have killed 5 civilians and wounded dozens in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The report details how Russian forces continue their relentless assault, targeting key cities like Dnipro and Samar, with recent attacks hitting military training facilities and civilian infrastructure. Ukrainian officials describe a war of attrition, with Russian drones and missiles overwhelming their defenses and causing widespread destruction. Meanwhile, President Zelensky urges Western allies to intensify military support, as EU leaders extend sanctions and call for increased aid to bolster Ukraine's defenses. The narrative underscores the brutal reality faced by Ukrainians, with mounting casualties and damaged energy infrastructure, as Russia's strategic pressure persists. Amidst this chaos, diplomatic efforts persist, with Putin expressing willingness for future negotiations despite deep disagreements, highlighting the fragile hope for a diplomatic resolution amid ongoing violence. The Independent offers an intimate glimpse into the glamorous wedding of Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos, revealing how Sanchez chose a stunning Dolce & Gabbana gown inspired by 1950s Hollywood icons like Sophia Loren. The dress, characterized by a high neck, lace sleeves, and silk chiffon buttons, signifies a departure from her usual style, reflecting her desire for classic elegance. Sanchez's meticulous planning kept her gown a surprise, with her choosing to reveal her look only moments before the ceremony, while her accessories included diamond earrings borrowed from Dolce & Gabbana. Her daytime outfit, a chic cream suit and headscarf, contrasted sharply with her evening couture, showcasing her style evolution. The coverage captures the star-studded event's luxurious details, from her carefully curated wardrobe to the sophisticated ambience, illustrating a moment of personal celebration amid the intense political and global turmoil reported elsewhere. The Independent reports that the Trump administration abruptly rescinded layoff notices for hundreds of Voice of America employees after discovering errors in the documents, which could have delayed or nullified efforts to dismantle the agency. The notices, initially sent out last week, caused alarm among staff, especially union-protected employees, but were later retracted. Despite this, the administration's goal to drastically reduce Voice of America's staff by 85% remains in place, with senior advisor Kari Lake pushing forward with the plan. Trump has long criticized Voice of America as a liberal propaganda tool, and his executive order in March aimed to shut down the agency, which has been operational since 1942. The errors in the layoff documents, including incorrect personal details, led to the rescinding of notices, but the broader effort to weaken the agency persists, highlighting ongoing political tensions over its role and independence. The Associated Press details a dire humanitarian crisis unfolding in Afghanistan, where over 1.2 million Afghans have been compelled to return from Iran and Pakistan this year due to government-led expulsion campaigns. Iran alone deported more than 366,000 Afghans, with some fleeing amid Iran's ongoing conflict with Israel, which has intensified in recent months. Many of the returnees arrive exhausted, destitute, and uncertain about their future, with women and girls fearing restrictions on their freedoms under Taliban rule. Meanwhile, the Taliban has publicly encouraged Afghans to return home, promising safety and reintegration support, even as neighboring Pakistan has set a June 30 deadline to expel 1.3 million Afghans, aiming for a total of 3 million expulsions this year. The situation is exacerbated by widespread poverty, aid cuts, and the fragile state of Afghanistan's healthcare and education systems, leaving millions vulnerable in a country struggling to recover from decades of conflict. The Independent also reports that the Department of Justice has dismissed at least 3 career prosecutors involved in the prosecution of January 6 rioters, including 2 supervisors overseeing the case and a 3rd attorney. This move comes after the DOJ had already fired a dozen lower-level officials working on similar cases and pardoned over 1,500 individuals convicted for their roles in the Capitol riot. Attorney General Pam Bondi's letter to the dismissed prosecutors indicated they were removed from federal service, raising concerns about the politicization of the justice process. The Trump administration's broader actions, such as pardoning convicted rioters and removing prosecutors, appear aimed at diminishing accountability for the events of January 6, which resulted in injuries, deaths, and the disruption of the presidential certification process. These developments underscore ongoing tensions over the integrity of legal proceedings related to the riot and the administration's approach to political dissent. From the Toronto Star, the ongoing conflict in Gaza has resulted in devastating casualties, with Israeli strikes overnight claiming at least 62 lives, including innocent children and families sleeping in tents near Khan Yunis. The violence extends across Gaza's densely populated areas, with hospitals overwhelmed by the influx of bodies and injured victims. Despite the relentless bombing, hopes for a ceasefire are emerging, with U.S. President Donald Trump indicating that an agreement could be reached within a week, as indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas continue amid the complex backdrop of hostage negotiations and ongoing military operations. The humanitarian crisis deepens as thousands of Palestinians face starvation and danger, with limited aid being looted or blocked by armed groups and Israeli military actions, leaving civilians desperate and vulnerable in a territory where over 56,000 Palestinians have been killed since the latest ceasefire ended. According to Yahoo US, Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon has announced he will not seek re-election in 2026, a move that has sparked optimism among Democrats about flipping his swing district, which includes Omaha. Bacon, a retired Air Force brigadier general and a critic of Trump, has built a reputation for speaking out against party orthodoxy and advocating for conservative principles, even as he faced threats and political opposition. His decision reflects broader political shifts in Nebraska, where recent elections have seen diverse and progressive leadership emerge, such as Omaha's first black mayor. Bacon's departure signals potential upheaval within the Republican ranks and offers Democrats a strategic opportunity to gain ground in a district that has historically swung between parties, especially as he publicly criticizes Trump-era policies and emphasizes traditional conservative values. From Yahoo US, the New York City Pride Parade is set to take place today, June 29, marking the culmination of Pride Month with a vibrant march through Manhattan that celebrates LGBTQ+ rights and resilience. The event, rooted in the historic Stonewall riots of 1969, carries the theme Rise Up, Pride and Protest, emphasizing the ongoing fight against political and social challenges faced by the community, including recent restrictions on gender-affirming care and other civil liberties. The parade will wind through Lower Manhattan, starting at Fifth Avenue and passing iconic landmarks like the Stonewall National Monument, before dispersing in the Flatiron District. Spectators can enjoy the festivities for free, with the march broadcast live on ABC7 and online. With sunny weather forecasted and grand marshals including notable figures like Karine Jean-Pierre and Marty Gould-Cummings, the event promises to be a powerful display of unity, pride, and resistance in the face of adversity. The Independent reports that Vice President J.D. Vance has emerged as the clear frontrunner in early polling for the 2028 Republican presidential nomination, capturing 46% support in a recent Emerson College survey, far surpassing Marco Rubio at 12% and Ron DeSantis at 9%. Vance's support has surged from 30% in November, signaling a significant shift in the GOP race, while DeSantis and other contenders have seen little change. President Donald Trump has publicly praised both Vance and Rubio but has not endorsed any candidate, emphasizing the strength of the Republican field. On the Democratic side, the Emerson poll indicates that former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg leads with 16%, ahead of Kamala Harris at 13%, with California Governor Gavin Newsom and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro trailing behind. Notably, nearly a quarter of Democratic voters remain undecided, and Harris's support has decreased from 37% in November. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.